It's just to make sure that every bit of moisture is out. And as I do this, it is heating, it's warming, and you can see some smoke. Again, non-toxic, nothing to worry about. And the smoke then will turn into a flame. And as that turns into a flame, we also need to have a little timer in hand. And my timer is set for 2 minutes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that we sinter this for at least 2 minutes. Now, can you all see there's a little flame on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit of a bigger flame now. Good. So once the flame happens, that means that all the organic binder and the water have burnt off, and now there is no chance that it can explode. So now we're going to really heat it up, and it's going to become red hot. And as that becomes red hot, I then need to give it 2 minutes of firing time. So from where you're sitting, and because it's a bit dark, you can probably notice how red hot that's becoming. Yeah? Now, that's very good. My flame is actually dying on me. Okay, this only happens during demonstrations. So, now, not to worry, because the point is here, I haven't set my timer yet, but what I am going to do is I'm just going to fill this one up. It's okay, just fill it up. Okay, so that's full now. Okay, now that's not going to die on me too quickly. And we'll just do that again. In a second flat, we're going to have it red hot, and then we're just going to do that 2 minutes. So you see that it's okay. It doesn't matter if this happens to you. It's not an issue. I didn't do it on purpose, by the way. Yeah. All right. So once that gets really red hot, we're going to wait 2 minutes. Now this is one way to fire, but there are 4 ways that you can fire. And one of the nicest ways to fire is actually on a gas stove at home. That's really red hot. So now I've put on my 2 minutes, as you can see here. I'm just going to keep that nice and red hot. I've got to be very careful because at 1,300 degrees, I could actually melt that ring very quickly. Yeah? Because it usually melts at about 990 degrees around abouts. So I've got to keep my eye on it. And I've got to keep the flame moving all the time. And the first time you do this, it might seem great fun to do, but when you've done it many, many times, it is not that much fun. However, if you're doing it for the first time, there's a chance that you might melt down your piece too. So keep your eye on it all the time and keep moving the flame. So one way not to melt your pieces ever is to use your gas stove at home. So if you put a stainless steel rack on the gas stove, and you can just leave it for 10 minutes, because this is hotter. The hotter your flame, the less time you need. 2 minutes is sufficient here. But on the gas stove, it only goes up to about 780 degrees, and therefore you need 10 minutes. Another possibility is to use a kiln. And if you've got a kiln, they're quite expensive, but you can put it in there for half an hour at 650 degrees, or you could put it in 10 minutes for 800 degrees. You go off, you have a cup of coffee, read the newspaper, and the work is done for you. This one, you have to be there and you have to be constantly watching it. The fourth method for firing is actually in a microwave oven. And you might think that's a bit strange because you can't put metal. Of course not. And this is going to be pure silver by the end of it. So no, you can't put it into a microwave oven as it is, but we have a special microwave kiln. And that little kiln, when you put it into the kiln goes in the microwave oven. Oh, there's my time. So the kiln goes into the microwave oven, and of course, then you can actually cook it in your microwave. So that's what technology has done for us, which is absolutely amazing. And we're super happy that we're able to do something like this so quickly. Now, of course, it's really hot, so I'm going to cool it down with some water. And you'll see how hot it is. I'm dripping the water, but the water isn't even touching this yet. You'll see. There we go. All right, so now, yep, that's good enough to hold. And when I pick it up, you'll notice that it's very white. And I don't know if you remember the video that Alex was showing you when the pieces were cast. They were also very matte finish. They weren't really nice and shiny because they had to go through a process which was a cleaning process. This is also going to have to go through a cleanup process. But I can assure you that it is now 100% metal. Yeah, it's really solid. You can really press it. And it is now silver. So the way we see the silver is to take these sharp brushes, which are stainless steel, and to give it a good brushing. And so when I brush it, this is the part that everybody loves. Now you see the silver. Yes. Wow. It's my favorite expression. Wow. And so we just really brush it really hard with these little stainless steel brushes. People always ask me, is the stainless steel rough on your fingers? And the answer is yes, it hurts. But of course you don't have to hurt your fingers. I have jeweler's fingers, and jeweler's fingers usually get drilled through and things like that. But you can do it like this. You don't have to hurt your fingers. There's a lot of different ways we can teach you how to do it. But you can see already how it's a lot shinier. Of course, I'd have to do the inside as well. I haven't done the inside yet. I'm just going to do the outside for now. And this is just with the brushing, but the brushing has put lots of little tiny scratches, which also give it a bit of a matte finish. So if we want that to be really shiny, then what we need to do is we need to take this tool, which is called a burnisher, and we need to rub the burnisher over the surface. So any little raised areas will become super shiny with the burnisher, as you can see. Now that requires a little bit of elbow grease, bit of pressing, but we go all the way around and you'll see how we get a nice shine on the surface. So anything that's indented is going to stay slightly matte, and anything raised will be super shiny, and that way we get a lovely relief and you have a really good finish on the piece. So there it is. Now we'll pass it around in a few seconds. But another last step, which I am going to do with this one, to show you how it's really nice and shiny. And this one I can also give it a bit of a shine here. As I said, I won't do the inside right now, but of course we would have to do the inside. We'd have to clean the inside up as well. We'd do some filing on the inside to get it nice and smooth. Can you see from the top that it's not very round? Do you notice that?
Yes.
Okay, that's because of the shrinkage. And typically when it shrinks, it comes a little bit out of round. So what I can do is I can put it on here, which is a metal mantle, and then I can take a hammer and I can give it a good old hammering, and that's going to make it perfectly round. There we go. This doesn't hurt the piece, it doesn't hurt the texture. It's not, there's a soft mallet, it's not a hard hammer, and so we can now get it perfectly round. Now, I can't actually remember which finger that I put it on, so I have to start remembering which finger I made this for. But we can also give it a little bit of a polish, and this is a polishing cloth. It already has a bit of polishing compound on it. So I'm just going to rub it on here. And as we rub that very firmly, you can see how that shine really comes out. There we go. All right, so there we have quite a nice finish. And let's see if it fits. Was it this finger or was it this finger? I think it was this finger. The middle finger, right?
Yes.
There we go. It fits quite nicely. Can I take it off? Yes. We still have a little bit of polishing to do on the inside still, but there it is. So I'm going to pass it around. It is currently 999 silver, which is the purest of silver. So when you buy silver in a store, normally the silver you're buying is a 925 variety. 925 means that it is 92.5% silver, and the other 7.5% is usually copper. This has no copper in it at all. It is all silver.